You know what the average attendance is when Caitlin Clark plays home or the road?
What?
15,300.
Wow.
Okay? 15,300. Do you know what Caitlin Clark just got the contract from Nike?
Nike.
You know what the contract is?
I want to say it's $3 million a year for 8 to 10 years. It's almost $30 million, something like that.
Right there, look at this. Caitlin Clark gets 15,591 fans in attendance, 105% increase. Compared to the average game is 76.45. And to Angel Reese, it's only 10,000 people. Can you pull up what Caitlin Clark just got? What is the Nike contract with Caitlin Clark? Nike contract, $28 million is what the contract is. Okay? This is WNBA. Is paying Caitlin Clark $28 million. Good for freaking you.
And Caitlin Clark could be raising the tide and lifting all boats. And I think Angel Reese needs to take a pill because there is a great opportunity here. And I think jealousy is reigning supreme here.
Vinny.
Patrick Bet-David is absolutely right. Caitlin Clark is tearing up the league on her own and is changing the way people are viewing and seeing the WNBA. I mean, come on, she brought the heat.
That's it. I might have been you, Adam. I was like, it's not going to be packed and it's going to keep on going. Did you guys see the audience when she got bumped? That shit is packed. She is making a change.
Record-breaking attendance.
Record-breaking. Yeah. And I hate this. Guys, they always go to freaking race because she's white. No, she's nasty. The same thing with Eminem when you see people that are like, I'm not going to put him in the top 10. What are you, nuts? Eminem, I don't give a shit about his color. He is nasty lyrically. So you can't, again, with the race situation, it's like, by the way, this girl has pumped life into the WNBA, which nobody was talking about the WNBA just in a joking manner. She has made the WNBA.
And talking about heat, she even came into the league at the start of the year, setting it on fire in an instant. Everyone wanted to be a part of Clark's story, and unfortunately, at that time, it was all about talking her down. Caitlin Clark deceived several really intelligent individuals. Dawn Staley, Gino Auriemma, and U.S. Olympic coach Cheryl Reeve were among many who questioned her, if not criticized her. They simply didn't see her. Clark was little more than an effect to them, Caitlin's sanity, a mirage that would vanish like aerosol once she reached the more concrete world of the WNBA. She was too thin, too sluggish. Worst of all, just popular. But they were all wrong, every single one of them. As Clark's record-breaking rookie season reaches its climax, it's an entertaining exercise within the larger exercise of the Indiana Fever's increasingly realistic playoff push to quote some of these people back to themselves and wonder how they misread a player with such major gifts, who is already undeniably the best point guard in the league and the fastest player in WNBA history to reach 500 points and 200 assists. The explanation is that it isn't totally their fault. Clark excels at deception. On Monday night, in the Fever's victory over the Atlanta Dream, Clark executed a stunning feat of hand, foot, and eye deception that left Dream defender Maya Caldwell as perplexed as a pedestrian lost in a foreign land. Clark dribbled fiercely to her right, causing Caldwell to commit before quickly flushing the ball backward, cutting hard, recovering the dribble with her left hand for a crossover behind the back at full speed, then larking easily into an open layup. Caldwell turned around in confusion, as if asking, "What street am I on?" Clark has fooled Auriemma more than anybody else. If anybody in basketball has an eye for great guard potential, it's Auriemma, who discovered and nurtured Sue Bird, Diana Taurasi, Renee Montgomery, and Paige Bookers. However, Auriemma was positive Clark's game would be deflated in the WNBA, and anyone who believed otherwise was a moron. The delusional fan base that follows her disrespected the WNBA players by saying she's going to go in that league and tear it apart, she stated on the Dan Patrick Show the previous month. These people are so disrespectful and so unknowledgeable and so stupid that it gives women's basketball a bad name, okay? So, the kid was set up for failure right from the beginning. Not content to stop there, he added, "She's just not built for the physicality of this league, and she's not quick enough to get away from the physicality. So, there's a lot of learning curve." But let's not dismiss Auriemma. As a member of the Olympic Selection Committee, Staley rejected to choose Clark for the United States squad, forcing her to justify her inability to see Clark's potential. Caitlin is just a rookie in the WNBA, wasn't playing bad but wasn't playing like she's playing now. If we had to do it all over again, the way that she's playing, she would be in really high consideration of making the team because she is playing head and shoulders above a lot of people, she said on NBC in Paris. Reeve was openly antagonistic to Clark from the outset, writing on social media, "The W is more than one player." And when asked about Clark's large viewership, she replied, "I don't give two shits." In Paris, when asked if she regretted Clark's absence from the US roster, she said abruptly, "No." Here's Clark's response to the Olympic insult. In the first 3 games after the break, she averaged 25 points and 9 assists. On Monday night, she tied the rookie record for most three-pointers made in a single season with 85. And she still has 10 games left, beginning with today's game against the Connecticut Sun. She has scored at least 20 points in 6 of her last 8 games, and leads the league in assists with more than 8 each night. Allow her naysayers some grace. Clark, other from her eye-catching trademark threes, is not a prominent character. She's only 6 feet tall and has a boneless appearance. Her strong power is concentrated in her core, which is hidden behind a mundane-looking bagged uniform. She is neither swift nor slow. Nonetheless, she is quick with her hands, feet, and sense. That, too, is not a notable feature. It's surprising to find that she has scored 64% of her points without assistance, the highest percentage in the league. That is, Clark effectively hunts and generates the majority of her shots on her own, while also being the most deadly ball distributor, contributing to others' big scores. No man or woman, including Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, has ever been such a dual danger. When plotted on a graph, Clark is a complete outlier, not even appearing on the same screen as the other plot points. Clark's professional mistrust may also be explained in part by the fact that she was not one of theirs. She was not recruited by established teams like Connecticut or South Carolina. She ended up playing at Iowa, and Iowa was where you needed to look to get a genuine sense of Clark's potential, to forecast that she would be a ready-made pro who would only develop. Lisa Bluter, Clark's coach at Iowa, was both discreet and dangerous. She rarely had top-ranked recruits, yet she still had deep NCAA runs. Consider how shockingly effective Clark's Iowa backcourt teammate Kate Martin has been, gaining a spot with the Las Vegas Aces thanks to her game knowledge. That's because they were taught it. Bluter would spend entire off-seasons and practices teaching them to read instead of scrimmaging. As a result, Clark's true talent is less physical than her perceptive capacity to constantly discover open spaces in the court, to detect shafts and alleyways amid the physical commotion and hit at them immediately. "I wasn't a coach who really enjoyed, calling plays all the time," Bluter said recently. "I wanted to teach basketball. I didn't want to sit there and be a play caller and make the players have to look at me and hesitate when they're running an offense. I wanted it to be free-flowing. I wanted our fast break offense first to go right into our quarter court offense. And to me, it is a lot about spacing and collaboration. We celebrated the assist over the basket in practice every single day. I don't want to have a bunch of robots out there that just say, 'I'm supposed to pass here and go screen over there.' To me, that's not teaching them the game. It was really important that they understood the game." Clark's most valuable and long-lasting asset is now obvious: her game sense. It's no surprise that others found it so difficult to notice. And the next time she can show us this is when the Connecticut Sun face Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. This is a fascinating game, not just because of Caitlin Clark, not just because we're moving closer to the WNBA playoffs, and not just because the Fever are attempting to secure a postseason spot. There are several reasons why this game is worth seeing, all of the reasons listed above, plus the chance of a first-round playoff series. Most importantly, it's 2 teams playing terrific basketball late in the season and comparing themselves to one another. A week ago, it appeared like the Connecticut Sun was wavering. They lost in Atlanta. They trailed Los Angeles late in the 4th quarter at home before coming back to win. They narrowly defeated the struggling Chicago Sky at home. They were winning games, but not convincingly. They wanted a game that would shift the discourse and catapult them to a new level. That game was on Saturday versus the New York Liberty. New York owns the WNBA's best record. It had defeated the Sun many times earlier in the season. Connecticut played Chicago on Friday before traveling to New York for a Saturday doubleheader. New York had Friday off. The Liberty looked to be in a very good position. They were at home. They got more rest. Connecticut was looking precarious. That was when the sun truly started to shine. Connecticut stifled New York's offense, allowing just 26 second-half points in a 72-64 victory that delivered a strong message to the Liberty and the rest of the WNBA. The Sun are excellent, and they will stay good rather than fade late in the season. The Sun played a lackluster game against Chicago last Friday because they were reserving their energy and attention for New York. They won both games and now sit second in the WNBA standings, half a game ahead of third-place Minnesota and 3 games behind first-place New York. How Connecticut reacts to the Caitlin Clark Challenge will be a must-see television show. Indiana recently defeated Atlanta to maintain its winning ways following the Olympic break. Clark feels rejuvenated after a month off. Not being selected for the Olympic squad has both perks and disadvantages. Clark has the opportunity to make good use of that extra rest down the line against a number of WNBA players who competed in the Olympics and may be more exhausted. What are your expectations for the game today? And if you've already watched it, what were your thoughts on it? Let me know in the comments down below.